There we go. This is it. We are rolling. This is episode 402 of No Laugh Track Podcast, Acme's podcast here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Like I said, episode 402. I'm Justin Severson. I'm the lucky guy who gets to host this thing, and I just met last night, very briefly. We were both wearing masks. Jourdain Fisher, who's sitting across from me right now on the stage here at Acme.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm great. This is fantastic to be here.
Yeah, good. Do you have any... You haven't been in Acme before. Before last night, had you performed on the stage?
No, this is my first time here, and I've heard nothing but amazing things. So, like, when I got the date, I was like, great, this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, and last night was dope,
Yeah?
Like, especially for not having done live comedy in a while with the pandemic and everything. It was nice to get my legs back and like, feel a live audience again, especially, like, in a good club,
When's the last time you did? So... I tried to keep track. You did maybe just short of an hour last night, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time you did close to an hour on a Wednesday night?
It's been a while, I
Right?
guess. I mean, like, because I've done Zoom college shows, like, during this, which are just not, they're not that great. They're very hit or miss. Sometimes the shows happen, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's 5 people, sometimes it's 30 on a good one. And, you're either getting people with their cameras on or off. Sometimes they're on mute, and you just never know what's going to happen as far as, like, how good the returns will be on the show. So it's like scratching an itch and not really getting satisfied with it.
Yeah.
So, but doing it live, you're like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like, and this is what it actually feels like. And it's just like, it makes you feel okay as a comedian because you're like, oh, I still know how to do this, because you're not getting a real read on the Zoom shows where you're like, is this? Yeah,
when you have done the Zoom shows, do you want their mics to be on? I mean, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Does that screw you up, or did you like it?
I'd prefer them to be on. I want to see their faces. Like, I get, like, people. It's weird. People act like you wouldn't see the same face that you would live, but it's like,
yeah.
It's fine. Just turn your camera on I want to hear you laugh. I don't think people understand really, like, how comedy works and the fact that we get feedback and know the timing and, whether the joke was funny or not by hearing them laugh. Because a lot of them, with college shows, they have me on in the background, or they're, like, doing homework.
See, it's weird. Like, you're saying college show, and, I went to college, and I think I did see a few comedians.
Yeah.
Well, it's in like a, assembly hall or something where I'm gathered with, other kids that attend that school.
Yeah.
But you're doing a college show, it's being broadcast to wherever they are, right? They're
yeah,
not in.
They're
all
most of them
alone.
aren't. Yeah, most of them aren't on physical campus right
they're
now.
Probably at their mom and dad's house.
So they're at their house. They're in their room. You can see their room. Sometimes they don't want to be on camera because they just don't want you to see their shit.
I still have my NSYNC posters.
Right, yeah. So they're literally in their room, like, at home, like, doing something, or, some of them paying attention, and you're just performing to wherever they are. You're just performing to people in their apartments, which is, like, strange, but, it's you just kind of roll with the punches as best you can.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm very grateful to be able to work during all this as a comic, because there are plenty of comics that I know that are in a hard way right now.
Yeah.
And, I feel for them, and I'm blessed to be able to, still have some form of income. But just the creative side, you're just like, fuck, man. This is a drag on some of them.
At what point did you check the weather for this week?
Oh, for this week? Probably about a week prior. And then I saw a bunch of zeros. And I was like, all right.
You saw those zeros, and it wasn't like after a 1. Like
right,
1,
exactly.
0, 0.
That's the thing. It was ridiculous. Like, there were no double digits. Like, it was just weather not for black people.
It's crazy. My weather app will show it sometimes as -0.
Yeah, my weather
app.
How
is it -0?
My weather app came up and said, nah, son.
It said turn around.
Yeah, turn around. Said don't do it, fam. So yeah, I had to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and gear up. I had to get some gloves and the Under Armour and
Yeah, hell yeah.
the face cover, like the pullover face covering thing, all that kind of stuff. And
I mentioned it on the podcast last week with Dan St. Germain that I ended up going. I was planning a weekend with some of the guys. I went ice fishing last weekend.
Oh, whoa.
And I'm born and raised here and still
Yeah.
went out and bought new gear because I wasn't prepared. And I've had a lifetime of saving up winter clothes.
Where's the spot to go ice fishing?
Well, we went about 3 hours north of here, and outside, obviously, like outside the ice shack, it was 20 below. Inside, within a half an hour, it was 80 degrees.
What?
Yeah, because you get a heater going.
Wow.
Yeah, clearly you've never been ice fishing.
And no. I used to go regular fishing all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time with my granddad, but
Uh-huh.
man, ice fishing, that's always been.
You should do it sometime.
I would try it.
It's intimidating to get out on the lake if you're comfortable with walking on ice, being in a vehicle on ice. Doing that for the first time is a whole
Yeah, that's the
weird
scary
experience. Or when you're in the shack and it's quiet, but then there's other people maybe moving their vehicles outside, and then you can feel the water kind of splashing underneath the layer of ice. It gives you chills sometimes.
part. Man,
Uh-huh.
that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I would try it. That's sounds slightly terrifying.
Yeah.
but I mean,
I wish I had a place to take you this weekend. I gotta get you out there, man.
Yeah.
Next time.
What'd you catch?
Nothing.
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 Just
So-
the cold.
Yeah. I was either going to catch alcohol poisoning or fish. And I got
Right.
neither, thankfully. I mean, I would have
Wow.
liked the fish, but no, a couple people pulled some in. But
Oh,
it was
wow.
about the camaraderie, and
Right,
hanging out
the
with some old-
experience.
and hanging out
Okay.
with some old buddies.
I got you.
Yeah, for sure. So I was here at the show last night. Like I said, we met
Yeah.
briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very funny.
Thanks, man.
Very funny. Nate Ninkle's working this week. Mike Early's working this week as well.
Funny guys.
Yeah, very funny guys. So, and I also listened to your album within the last week. Your album, Good For You.
Ah, thank you.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, do I want to hear this before I
Right.
see him for the first time
Yeah.
in person, or am I going to hear these jokes already and
Right.
like it's going to ruin it?
Yeah.
I think you maybe just did a couple that I'd heard
Yeah.
before. So
Yeah.
well done.
Thanks. Yeah. I
Album's not that old, so turning that over is good, man.
I'm trying to, because the album, that was my first one, and I've been doing comedy for, I guess since 2007. Yeah, I think 2007. Holy
Okay.
shit. So yeah, and the album jokes, of course, it takes, it's a compilation of years of material, and not everything, of course, because
Yeah.
you hopefully aren't telling your jokes from your first 2 years or anything like that. You get better as you go. But yeah, I mean, once the thing is, like, I recorded that album just because it's like I had to get something down to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, like, it's not like I'm gonna magically get a special or anything all of a sudden, like, immediately to put the stuff out first. So it's like, just get the album out, like, have something that I can, like, show people or they can listen to, like, some form of body of work.
Get it on
And
Sirius XM and all those stations.
Get that money,
Yeah.
and then and just get back to work more on, like, becoming better. So that was the goal, is just like get that out and like just start churning over new stuff, and it kind of lights a fire under your ass. Hopefully, if you're you really trying to elevate yourself as a comic.
So if I got the dates right, it came out about a year ago, February of 2020.
Yeah, February 2020.
And then a pandemic hits.
And then yeah.
So how did that change everything for you?
As far as like just
Progressing
working,
and getting back on the
Oh,
road,
man,
working
dude,
on
it's-
new stuff.
yeah,
How did
it
it
was-
change everything?
It's funny because I was like just starting to like work on new stuff. I was in the clubs in New York and testing out things. It's like, all right, like I want to force myself to be at square one, and then the pandemic hits, and it's like,
You were living in New York?
Yeah, I was living in New York, and I'm starting to kind of like find little nuggets of material. It takes a while before you can get jokes that are like that people laugh at, but it's like, you want the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So it's like I was just starting to feel like, all right, like I got one or two that are like, good, and just building. Got probably like 10 new minutes, and then boom, things shut down. I remember where I was. I was at the Comedy Cellar, and I was supposed to be doing a show at Fat Black Pussycat, and the Village in New York is busy all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like a ghost town that night. There was only 4 people in the Fat Black Pussycat, which never happens. Every show is sold out at the Comedy Cellar every night.
Right.
They have 3 rooms. All the shows are sold out every night, and they had to cancel that show, which I was like, oh, okay. So this
You're
is,
like, no, I'll perform
yeah,
anyway.
right. But I was like, this is serious. Like, this is wild.
Yeah.
Then I go to Broadway Comedy Club, and then that's when the announcement hits that it's like, oh, schools and bars are shut down, like all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, my dad calls and is like, hey, are you coming home? And I was like, I was thinking I might. He was like, when? I was like, maybe next week. He goes, no, you should come tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, you don't want to be in the city. Like, if people get desperate, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know, like, if people are going to, start doing things out of desperation or whatever, trying to fend for their lives and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a good point. So I packed my bags thinking I'd be down in North Carolina for like 2 weeks. And here we are a year later. And, during that time, it's just, at first it was kind of like a nice welcome break, because I was like, burning the candle at both ends, like that New York lifestyle where it's like, all right, like, right, go to work. Like, I was working at the Tonight Show and stuff like that, and then I get off from the Tonight Show, then go tell jokes at night, and then you got to go home and prep for the next day for the show. So I was just in this constant state of motion. And then once the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, cool. Like, it was kind of like a break that I know a lot of people feel this way, where it's like, it's not something you expected and it's not something you necessarily wanted, but maybe it was a little beneficial to take that break for a second and kind of get your wits about you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's where I was for a little bit. And then, like, eventually it was like, all right, dude, like, I really miss, like, being on stage and creating and stuff like that. So, and it was hard as a comic to not, like, have any, like, thing going on in your life where you find inspiration to write about, because everything was just coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I know, like, there's so many comics that were talking about coronavirus that I was like, well, I don't want to just write coronavirus jokes. I don't really like, I mean, I care that it's a pandemic or whatever, but I don't care to make that the bulk of my material.
Yeah. You had a joke last night towards the top. I really liked your angle on that one.
Yeah. It's like, it's like you're going to have like your one or two to address, like, obviously the elephant in the room,
right,
and talk about it. But it's like, all right, I just don't want to write a bunch of like mask jokes and, indoor and it's just like, I don't know. Eventually it just becomes airplane material.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I just want to talk about the other shit, whether that's just like, personal stuff going on in my life. I do like, the social observations and things like that.
Yeah. I definitely noticed you're doing current event stuff.
Yeah. I tend to like, talk about that kind of stuff and, have my take on those things. But I know as a personal goal, I'd like to start talking more about like just, I guess, elements of my personal life, family, how I actually like feel like in relationships, just like where my head is as a human, I guess, regardless of current events and things, just how I feel in my day to day, I think.
So in my research, I learned that there is a funeral home in your family's. Is it still around?
Yeah,
it is
still around. Yeah. Fisher Funeral Parlor.
So who runs it?
My uncles. It used to be my granddad's. My granddad is the one that made it. He passed 2 or 3 years ago, and now my uncles are the ones that are running it and taking care of it. I personally don't want to have anything to do with it as far as like, becoming an employee of the family business.
Here's my question. So you knew your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have in him that makes that job works for somebody? Because like you're saying, you didn't want to be involved in that. I would have no interest. I hate funerals. When I go to one, my grandfather just passed away.
Yeah.
One of them did just in November.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And he was 93. Lived a long time.
Yeah.
Great life, great
That's
man.
a good, yeah.
And but you see that person, and every time I confront or when I'm around them, I'm like, how do you do this daily, being around the saddest people, the saddest events?
I think they compartmentalize, everything.
He was a happy guy?
He was, well, I don't know if happy. Like like he was fine. He was kind of like he was kind of crotchety. He was always very, nice to me and the grandkids and all that kind of stuff. Now, my dad will tell you is like he was a Grinch growing up.
Okay.
But like he was kind of a people person, like about town, like because I used to go out with him and he would get stopped every time we went out. Like people recognized him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're good at their job, talk about the
he was like
it's like having a good doctor.
Yeah, he
like,
was
you
a
could trust this
staple.
person.
Yeah, he was a staple in Durham, North Carolina, where the business is. And
Yeah.
I mean, like we go out and it'd be like, hey, Elijah, how you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm doing good. How's your mother? She's like, oh, she's kind of sick. And it's like, oh, well, you know where to find me. Like that kind of shit. But he still being personal, but getting a little business off a little bit. But but he's he's a good dude. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, like, everybody dies, so it can be a lucrative business. I mean, it's gonna be a $1 billion industry forever. Like funeral homes and porn will always make money,
right? Somebody's got to be doing it.
Yeah,
'cause there's a demand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People gonna be fucking. People gonna be dying. That's
Man, have you? Is there merch from the funeral home, and why aren't you wearing a T-shirt on stage?
merch. Funeral home merch.
Yeah, come on. Nobody's kidding. It's the family business. I'm promoting the family business.
I'm gonna be selling these urns after the show.
Yeah. No one's doing that. No one's doing that.
You're right.
And
you're
that
right.
Maybe wait for the sitcom.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the product tie-ins for the
Right.
sitcom. But,
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't forget about that
Yeah.
stuff.
Trust me, that's coming.
Don't forget about that stuff. Now, I'm going to bring something up right now, and I could be risking you getting really mad at me.
Okay.
I'm joking slightly. No,
Okay.
I'm joking. Years ago, hosting this podcast, I brought up someone's birthday, and they did not like that I did that because
Really?
they blamed. See, okay, good.
Okay.
Because they said, "Don't you do that." We ended up cutting it out of the podcast.
Yeah.
No one's heard this except the people here in this room. This comedian didn't want me to mention their birthday because that's how people steal identities. They use birthdays. And I was like, I never thought of that. But anyway, what I'm getting to is, did I learn correctly that your birthday is coming up
Yeah.
on Sunday?
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day?
No, the day before, Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the day before.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right under the wire. Yeah.
Well, close enough.
Yeah. It's my birthday.
Okay. Because I saw that, but I guess it's not on the exact day, but it's staying close enough.
Yeah.
So I'm someone who my birthday was always within a few days of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Growing
yeah.
up, that was great because it was an
Right.
excuse. We were already going to get together
Yeah.
with distant relatives.
Uh-huh.
I was the firstborn grandchild,
Yeah.
nephew to everybody.
Okay.
So like I got spoiled with gifts.
Yeah.
Like we were together.
Right.
It wasn't a normal gift-giving holiday.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the attention was on me.
Right.
And food. It was fantastic. I did a little reading this morning
Uh-huh.
and found out that people that have birthdays around Valentine's Day think it's the worst.
Really?
You haven't had that.
No, I don't think it's the worst. I also like, Valentine's Day to me is like a fabrication. Like I'm just like, all right, it's whatever.
Yeah, but some of the complaints I was now, granted, I think some of the articles I was reading were written from a woman's perspective.
Right? Yeah.
But there were. But some of the complaints were like, I'm not the only one receiving gifts.
Right.
Like, not only am I'm getting a birthday
It's
gift.
not all about me.
But what about people are combining birthday and Valentine's,
Yeah.
but not just that. But I have to worry about buying something for someone else.
Right,
So
yeah.
we're both exchanging
Yeah.
gifts, but it's my birthday.
I can see that. I can understand that.
Dinner reservations are harder to get.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I've never had like a real bad experience. But I've been lucky to have like good birthdays, and then Valentine's Day is the day after, and I'm like, cool, whatever. Like, but also like I haven't been in a bunch of relationships where it's like it's mattered.
Okay.
I've been in like 2 actual like real relationships, like, and the one I'm in now, this is our first Valentine's Day, so I'm away. Oops. But we celebrated before I left. I made sure to
you did?
It's like all right, we'll do something, at least before I leave.
But wait a minute, you celebrated Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So you still have a birthday to celebrate.
Yes,
with this
still have
significant other.
still have a birthday. So when I get back, apparently, we'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But which is fine. Like, it's like at this point, it's like, dude, I'm a grown man. It's like it's my birthday, it's cool. It's fine. Like as long as I have just like a nice, decent day, it's like I'd like to eat some good food.
Yeah.
And just like not have to worry about anything through the day.
Yeah.
Cool. Like if I see like my friends and stuff, that's also an added bonus. But other than that, it's like, all right, like, I went to Skateland for 10 years. My life.
And now they're closed for
Yeah,
COVID. You can't even go if you want.
Yeah. It's like, what are we going to do? It's fine. Just like, I'm not one of those people that's like, dude, just to see grown people like, it's my birthday month. Shut up. It's everybody's birthday month.
Yeah,
like
right?
every fucking year. So like, what do you do? Or like just countdowns 2 weeks until it's like, you get one day, you get a post. We'll say happy birthday on the day. But other than that, shut up, go to work. Like we're not talking to you like 3 weeks in advance. Like, oh, I can't wait for your birthday.
Didn't I hear? I think I heard some of your material. You have about like seeing people's birthday posted on Facebook and just skipping it.
Yeah, like
Nah.
yeah, dude. Like I'd see people's birthdays on Facebook, and I'm like, fuck, whatever. I'm not gonna. It's like I don't care.
It's been too long.
Yeah, it's like it's been too long.
They won't
I don't
even
know
know
you enough. Like, and who cares? Like that used to be the barometer of like, if you have a good birthday, how many people, posted on your Facebook, happy birthday. Now, barely anybody's on Facebook. And now it's if people share a picture of you on their story.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, shout out to my bestie. It's their birthday on their story. And then the birthday person reposts all the people that posted them on their friends' stories onto their story, which is like this
Too much.
It's just a big pile of narcissism.
Yes, absolutely. Do you have? So you're sticking around you're doing shows here on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. I heard it's sold out.
Yeah, which is exciting, and I mean.
Normally,
Yeah.
I mean, there's never shows here. Not never, but rarely
Yeah.
shows here on a Sunday. But
Really?
that's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully I can keep people's Valentine's Day nice and happy, and they don't
So,
go home fighting each other.
as I said, I was here last night, and I'm not going to quote your
Yeah.
joke, but I will just say that towards the end of your set, you did a thing where it's about relationships and missing the other person.
Yeah.
And it's sort of negative
Yeah.
about that aspect of missing your significant other.
Yeah.
Will you be performing that joke to couples here on Valentine's Day?
Probably.
Which is not what they want to hear.
Probably. They should know the truth regardless of the day.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I would have been disappointed if you said you're going to leave it out.
No, I'll probably bring it up. Which is, that's like a whole new idea. Like, and I get people get in relationships and they come to comedy shows and, comedians will talk about relationships and you can feel like the tension of, it's like something that, like a guy or something wants to laugh at. And it's like, but then she's going to think that I actually believe this. And I very much separate like, what you say in comedy with like your actual beliefs a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like there's some things that will come to mind that sure come from a nugget of truth, but just the equation I know is funny and it may not be something that I believe full-heartedly.
Sure.
Or it's just like I'm saying this just because I know it'll get a laugh. It doesn't mean I actually like am like on this side of the thing. But I know there's also people that feel this way, or this is just kind of human nature.
Yep.
Like this emotion is human nature. So, and I think people like sometimes just kind of take things a little too serious and play too close to themselves, where it's like it's a joke and like we've all been there. Like it's fine. Like, and to like, I don't know, like, look, I mean, straight up, like. Yeah, it takes me a minute to miss somebody. Like, it takes me a while.
Yeah.
Like, like one day isn't gonna do it. Like, it fucking takes longer to make a bottle of kombucha. Like, you gotta let that shit seep for a little bit before I'm ready to be like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. I miss
Well,
you.
you said it first. I'll say it back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I miss you. It's like, okay. Me too. I guess I should say I miss you too. But it's like, I was fine. I had an Xbox the whole time.
My internet didn't go out. I was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what you need to do? There needs to be a term that's like in between I missed you and Huh? You didn't even come to mind. Like,
Yeah. I guess if you play like, I guess if you say something like, I was thinking about you or something like that, maybe that's like a safe middle ground.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You floated around in my head for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. During
Yeah.
commercial break, I thought of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like you know, it's like you love somebody, and it's like that love is there, but it's like, you know, to miss, it's like you really need to have that absence, especially during COVID. I feel like everybody's been together so much.
Yeah. No, along those lines. So, are you living in? You're still in North Carolina, or where? Are you now?
Yeah. I'm still in North Carolina right now.
And where's your lady friend?
She's in North Carolina too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we met in North Carolina during the pandemic. So it's like, you know, by all means,
That's
like,
against the social distancing.
I know.
Jordan,
We were
I'm sorry.
being
How
very
did
bad.
you do that?
We were being very bad by breaking some laws. Yeah, and so by all means, like, it's like we weren't, you know, meant to, you know, cross paths really. I mean, or maybe we were. Who knows? But yeah, it just kind of happened. And it's been cool. It's been nice. Like it's been, you know, great getting to know each other, and you know, we love each other and all that.
Yeah.
But
Corona brought us together.
yeah, Corona brought us together, which is, you know, I'm sure there's been a lot of that during all this.
And the opposite.
And the opposite. I was just about to say, there's been a lot of people that have gotten together because of this virus, and a lot of people that have like ended things and like realized like where they were in their relationship.
Oh yeah.
Made some changes in their lives. Yeah, I feel like all of this is just like a very much like a, I don't know, just like a intermission in people's lives, and then like changing the narrative. Like,
Yeah.
So,
Some things will change for the better.
yeah.
It won't be,
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Hopefully so. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, hopefully, you know, things keep going on a nice trajectory for us, because, you know, I plan on moving again from North Carolina, and you know,
think you'll go back to New York?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Does she want to go to New York?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see. You know, I can't speak for her. But we'd like to work it out. You know, we both, you know, said like we'll figure that out once we get to it.
Yeah.
But it's just very interesting right now with the way the comedy scene is changing, where it's like, is New York my next move? I don't know. I was there for 5 years. I was planning on being more bi-coastal when, you know, coronavirus hit.
Okay.
I was, you know, trying to do, you know, the LA, New York thing. And now it's like, where do you land? Because so many people, like even LA comics, well-established, big LA comics have been like, all right, I'm dipping.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Texas or wherever, or Colorado.
I'm going to the ranch.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, where's the new spot? Like what I think New York will always be like, you know, a pinnacle of comedy. Sure. Just the way the city's laid out. But, you know, it's been hit so hard where it's like, hopefully these businesses can survive. Like you'd like to see the Comedy Cellars, New York Comedy Club, Stan, you know, and so on and so forth, like come back and, you know, be able to live up to what they were. But we don't know. Yeah. We don't know. So, man, I'll see. I'll see if it's New York.
I'm curious. Well, I watched a video that you had. Mm-hmm. Am I going to see more Gangsta Chef?
Yes. Yeah. That's actually something I really want. That
was funny.
Yeah, So during this whole thing, like, I like cooking a lot, and I think like during the pandemic, I've explored more cooking than I ever have. Like I've been the type where it's like I'll cook for myself at home and all that, but with this, and I think being in a relationship, I'm like, oh, like let me cook this thing for her. And like it started off just me cooking, be like, oh, like I'll cook you dinner tonight, and it'd just be nice. And then it became for me where I was like, I actually like really, really enjoy cooking and like trying out new recipes and like learning the actual craft of it. And the Gangsta Chef thing was just born out of boredom with coronavirus, where I was just like, you know, cursing out this food as I as I made it, and because the first one I made was back in the summer, and then recently I did the one like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's almost what I saw.
Because I told myself, I was like, I need to make another Gangsta Chef video, and then I was like, shit, I'll actually like really get into this character. I'll go buy a chef hat and a bandana and all this kind of stuff, put myself on camera and like do this. So like I actually want to like start making it a weekly installment thing. So like once I get back, you know, and get settled, it's like I'm gonna start like actually cranking them out and like do some recipes.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff.
your thing, man.
Yeah.
There's your thing.
Yeah, I think it's too much fun. Like, and it's plus it's like I get to like eat at the end of it. It's like I make like the food is good. Like when I cook shit, I'm
it
like,
looked delicious.
Yeah, it like comes out well. So I'm like, all right, like. Yeah, I'll keep going this and saying ridiculous, obscene things about some rigatoni.
Damn noodles.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Chop that shit up one time for your homies.
You gotta. It's time. You know. Before it gets too big, copyright Gangsta Chef.
Yeah, I should.
Yep.
I should.
So
yeah.
you can get that on.
Yeah, Thug Peach, a.k.a. Gangsta Chef.
Yep, there you go. There you go. I think, let me check the time. I think that's a good time. We think we should end it there.
Yeah.
People need to come to your shows here at Acme. It's your first week here at Acme.
Yeah.
2 shows. If people hear this Thursday, there's a show tonight at 8 to Friday, 7 and 9:30, Friday and Saturday. Some are sold out already. Completely sold out. Friday, very close to sold out. Saturday, sold out. Sunday, sold out. We're still not at, we can't fit every seat in Acme like if there was no COVID, but everything's spaced out. Like I said, I came to the show last night, saw it in person, felt very, very safe. There's, like plexiglass kind of in between some of the seats. It works out great, and the tables are spaced out really well.
Yeah.
It's a good setup here.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, there's no better bang for your buck than live comedy here at Acme.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's awesome. The crowds are awesome.
Yeah. So thank you, Jordan, and don't be a stranger. Come back soon, man.
Of course, I'd love to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.